Hey everyone, and welcome back. Now, I know there's a ton going on in the crypto market right now, so I want to talk specifically about ICP because what we've seen is a pretty decent move to the upside that's been looking really, really good. And so I know there's a lot going on, so let's go on ahead and jump right in, and we can talk about some of the crazy things that we're seeing with ICP and potentially some price predictions that we could be seeing maybe a little bit sooner than maybe all of us had expected. And so starting out, what we can see is just in this last week, ICP's been up about 33%, which obviously, really, really great. Not as great as some of these others that we're seeing in here, but still, 33%, nothing to scoff at all. Fantastic week for the entire crypto market, and ICP definitely a beneficiary of that for sure. What we can see looking at the crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin though is a lot of really interesting things, because first off, obviously, it's been a great week in crypto, and a lot of people are starting to wonder like, oh, well, could this be like, is the top in, a lot of this type of stuff, right? And what we're seeing is, based on looking at the crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin, this is not really the case yet, right? I mean, we've seen it kind of hit some of these highs at about 1.18 trillion, but we're still not even to like March 2024 levels. Like, we've seen more than this even just earlier on in the year, right? And so I think that's something to keep in mind. And then also, looking at kind of previous all-time highs, we've still got like another 50 or 60% of total market cap gains to go until we see something similar to that. And so, obviously things are looking really good. We've seen a ton of volatility coming into the market, a ton of really green volatility, obviously, because it's basically just been up only for the past like week or so. This is the first red candle we've even seen so far, but again, like, the day hasn't closed yet. I think this is just the start of a new day. And so, we could easily see this flipping and kind of continue green. However, if we did start to see a little bit of a pullback, it would not surprise me. We've seen obviously like this giga set of green candles that have pushed us really far up. And so, obviously looking pretty good from a total crypto market perspective. So looking at the ICP chart, what we can see over the past week is, ICP's done fantastic. If you look at just a week ago, you would have been buying ICP for under $7, and now we're paying, just shy of $9.50 for it, which obviously is really, really great to see, especially if you're an ICP fan. But again, keeping in mind, the reason I have the chart zoomed out so far is for perspective. We saw a higher number than this in late September, a higher number in July, and then obviously much higher numbers in like late March, hitting highs of, just shy of $21. So we're still less than half of that. And then, if all of you ICP fans know that if we were to continue to zoom this out, we would see even more. I think ICP's all-time high price is like $500. And so I do think, it's possible that we get back to that level, but so far, fantastic gains that we've seen going on. As you can see, I do still do kind of most of my trading on Margex. I do have a couple of orders open. We can see I'm up, just shy of 40% on Bitcoin, and another Casper order open. I did actually make an ICP trade recently, and that one did fairly well for us as well, coming up about 68%. So, this is something you definitely can trade, especially when the market is moving up like this. If you're confident that you think that the coin that you like is going to go up. Obviously, Margex allows for things up to 100x depending on, what you're trading on. ICP specifically, they allow up to about 50x. But as you can see on my ICP trade, I only did 20x because I didn't necessarily want to get washed out of the trade given, kind of these points of high volatility, but I did have pretty strong conviction that we were going to continue to the upside. And so I was able to make a pretty quick and easy trade on lower leverage, obviously a lot less risky and whatnot. So if you are interested in trading, feel free to check out my Margex link in the description below. I also do have the link to BTCC. BTCC, I do still have that promotion going on for the month of November, where essentially you get like a 10% cash back or a cash match for anything that you deposit. So if that is something that you're interested in, feel free to click on either of those links in the description below. Margex is really nice because there is no KYC or VPN needed, so it's a very, very easy, quick, and simple process to get signed up on, which honestly, in a market like this where, Bitcoin seems to be up another $1,000 every like 15 minutes, the speed might be worth it. And so anyway, either of those are there if that is something that you're interested in. Looking at ICP specifically and on their website, I wanted to call out one thing in particular, because a lot of the projects that we've seen run very heavy this point have been kind of two things. One, they're kind of like the next gen blockchain, meaning that essentially they can handle transactions at speed and scale. Or two, they're an AI, like an AI project, right? And so they have some ability to kind of interact with AI. Well, as we talked about in a recent video, we already know that ICP is the fastest blockchain, at least like in terms of consistent speed on the market. But they also run AI models on chain as well because of how their system is built. And so ICP really kind of plays to both of these narratives really quite well. And so And the thing that, again, remains to be the biggest concern or biggest complaint that I have with ICP is just the lack of marketing, or the bad marketing, I guess you could say, just because there's no, like, people don't really know about it. People that do don't really get what it does, don't really get how it does. Like, there's a lot of like that stuff going on that really, I think, like, if the general market started to realize what ICP actually can do, then the price would go nuts. And so we're going to get into that here in a second. But what we can see first is, we have talked about previously in terms of fastest blockchains per second. What we can see, real-time blockchains per second is about 2,500. Max recorded is about 25,000, and then max theoretical is about 209, almost 210,000 transactions per second. We can see next closest here is Solana. One thing that we still haven't seen get updated is Sui is not recorded on this. Sui, I would say, at least just from all the research that I've done previously and how things are looking, they're relatively comparable or consistent with Solana. So probably between, the 800 to 1,000 transactions per second range. The big kind of eye-watering or eye-popping thing that people like to point out with Sui is their max theoretical transactions per second, I believe, is either 249 or 279,000 transactions per second, which is definitely like very much approaching that internet level speed that everybody's kind of looking for and wanting. Also eclipses ICP on that front as well. So this is a lot of what we're seeing here. Time to finality between kind of Solana and ICP and Sui is all very comparable. Sui does theirs in milliseconds. I think they're 400 milliseconds. Solana would be 450, and then ICP would be about 480. So again, all about pretty close there. Moving on, I want to go check out the ICP dashboard because we've seen some other things here. Again, we've got the transactions per second. Again, the difference between the other transactions per second and this is this includes query transactions, which the other one excludes. What we can also see though is the cycle burn rate. Obviously, we had a massive spike in cycle burn rate here on like kind of the early first part of September. But the thing that we're seeing is it's actually holding its cycle burn rate pretty well. We're at 261 billion. Prior to this kind of run up, we saw 13 or 23 here. We're kind of back at like 8 to 10. So we're anywhere between 10 to 26x above where we used to be in terms of cycle burn rate, which is essentially like the burning mechanism or the usage of the network. So obviously massive growth, even just in the past 3 months. What we can also see is that it's kind of equivalent with the amount of ICP burned. We've seen about 465,000 burned, where prior to this kind of spike, I think we were like not even 100,000. So about a 4x increase over the past 3 months in burn rate. Also, you can see canisters as well. This is a year chart, but we can see, we're at 864, and a year ago we were at 347. So over double, in terms of growth or like smart contracts being deployed on the ICP network. So again, kind of by all metrics, ICP doing really quite well in terms of their growth, how their platform and ecosystem is holding up. There have been no hiccups like we did see in 2021 or 2022 with Solana. Things are looking pretty good overall. And so that leads me to my next question, which is like price prediction. What do we think? What could we reasonably or realistically see? And what we're seeing about right now is we're just below about a $4.5 billion market cap. So getting to about $10 would put us at about $5 billion. From there, if we were to 10x, I get us to $100 per ICP, which would put us at about a $50 billion market cap. I mean, we see projects do this all the time, right? I mean, even Sui, who is largely unproven but has done very well this cycle, is 2x where we are currently. So that would put ICP close to about $20 per ICP if we were just keep on par with Sui. Solana, which again, we've seen on the blockchain, ICP does about 3 times the transactions per second. Solana just hit $100 billion. So that's about a 20x from here, which would be about a $200 per ICP price. Again, and that's just to catch up with the chain that does about a third of the transactions per second. So, if we were to multiply that times 3, and again, this isn't necessarily like an equivalent expectation of like what we should see in terms of like blockchain value or blockchain ecosystem value. But if we were to use that as our very simple calculation, I mean, that puts us at $600 per ICP, right? So there's a lot of like kind of crazy things that could happen. And that would, to note, that would put us at a $300 billion market cap, which is about 75% of what Ethereum is currently. So not totally unreasonable. I mean, I think it's very aggressive, right? But it's not totally unreasonable. And hopefully you guys are able to see that kind of as we're talking through some of these numbers and going through some of this. But overall, like, this is the first time in several months, I would say, that we've really started to see a lot of an ICP kind of catching the eye of a larger market. Now, again, we're kind of just running back up to what we've seen already this year. And so I think a lot of this is going to continue to kind of impact how the rest of the bull market unfolds. Does ICP kind of get their marketing figured out and really start to draw some like users and adoption and eyes and a lot of this type of stuff? There are projects, like we have talked about before, that are building on ICP, which I do think will definitely help this claim. But overall, I mean, things are looking really, really strong, and $9 per ICP, I mean, to me looks really, really cheap. Again, not financial advice, things are looking really good. I think right now, obviously, I was hoping to get to like the $6 or $7 range. I talked about this a couple weeks ago, but kind of given the fundamentals that have shifted in the crypto market right now, with the election going, I would say, about as good as it could for crypto fans, things within kind of the global market, it seems like global tensions maybe cooling off a little bit. I mean, there's still some things to be seen there. China's stimulus package came through, and that seems to have gone off relatively well-ish, at least so far. There are some still lingering issues there. But overall, given a lot of the bullish momentum and bullish factors that we've seen within the crypto market as a whole, so obviously, there's never a bad asset, just a bad price. But also price is subjective based on kind of the information that we have at the time that we have it, right? And so I think as we're starting to see a lot more of these bullish factors come out, this is where I think some of the price is kind of jumping, and even though it's more expensive than what it was, the price starts to maybe look a little bit better because we have a lot less of the uncertainty that we did a couple of weeks ago. And obviously the people who were in before that benefited, and people who haven't obviously are going to be paying a little bit more of a premium, but that's the premium that you pay for not being willing to put up with that uncertainty, right? So anyway, hopefully this video was helpful for you. ICP, I do think, is a really, really top quality project. And so anything that I say, hopefully can kind of turn you on to some of the more fine details and nuances of ICP particularly. But again, please keep in mind that nothing I say is financial advice. You should be doing your own research before you go and dive into anything too crazy. But overall, hopefully the information in this video was useful. If it was, please do give me a like and subscribe. It really does help me out. It also lets me know that I am doing a good job and that I should continue talking more about all this type of stuff. And also, if you have any like thoughts, comments, anything like that, please do drop in the comment section below. I do try to read and respond to all of them, and it also does give me really good clarity or like direction in terms of what you guys want to see me talking more about, or if you have any questions, anything that I may have missed, stuff like that. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you in the next video.